The Joe Rogan Experience.
It's funny. Speaking of which, I watched your movie. Is this thing on? And it's good. It's really good, man.
Oh,
It's
man.
It's one of the best representations of someone attempting to do stand-up. And it's a really good film. And but it's not really just about stand-up. It's about these people with this. It's about they're actual human beings. Like, these are complicated, real, like, not caricaturish, not cartoonish people. Like I get that these are real people.
Right, good.
Complicated, real people that are trying to figure out their relationships.
Good.
And in the context of this one guy, Will Arnett, is attempting to do stand-up.
Right.
So it was great.
I'm glad you say that. Like, so because I moved to New York in '97, and then that was my introduction to any comedy world. Other than with my dad, I used to watch Rodney Dangerfield's, New Year's Eve special. We used to watch it every year, and it was Elaine Boozler and Sam Kinison and Dice and
God, Elaine Boozler, I forgot about her.
I'm pretty sure she was on there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was obsessed with Dice when I was like in 8th grade. I memorized one of his records, and I would do it in the train station with all my friends. Because back then, that's all you did, right? You would memorize stuff.
Oh, yeah, me
There was
too.
no video to look at. You wouldn't all sit around. You would just memorize and then, regale your friends with your impersonation of him. And then, and Richard Pryor was my hero growing up. That was my idol. So I had this thing with stand-up comedy, and then I moved to New York, and I'm all of a sudden immersed with these clubs, and Upright Citizens Brigade had just started. And I did this movie, Wet Hot American Summer, and there was all these people. I didn't even know about The State. Remember that show on MTV? There was this, this. And so I just, little by little immersed myself into that world, and I just became fascinated with the culture. And then Zach Galifianakis, who I met like in 2001, way before Hangover, I used to go and watch him do stuff. And I just love the culture. And when Will was telling me about this, I was like, oh, let's set it in New York and the cellar. Because I just love the geography of the cellar, too, that you go in the olive tree and you walk down into this place. It's this whole other world. And it just felt like, I really want, like, can we pull this off where it's authentic, where you were watching it at home and you get a sense of the fact that you're saying that, you feel like it got it, within the striking distance makes me really happy.
Yeah, it's striking distance. It's like one of the only films. Or like, Punchline was an interesting film, the Tom Hanks, Sally Fields.
Yeah, of course.
Comedy, but it was bullshit. Like, you watch it, like, what, they have lockers? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, and also the comedy wasn't good. It wasn't real comedy. It was like, it felt flat and fake, and people were laughing at nothing. The Will stuff felt real.
Yeah.
It felt real. Like, the clubs felt with like a guy trying to work out what it's like to be on stage and open mic. And then the fact you got Jordan Jensen in, who I love.
Yeah, of course.
She was fucking great. I texted her afterwards. I'm like,
isn't she great in the movie?
She's great.
Yeah, the minute I started shooting her, and I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and the first thing I shot with her was one of her sets, and I was just up there with the camera, and I came around, and her profile, and actually I felt like I was in A Star Is Born. She looked a lot like Gaga and Ally, like singing "Shallow."
Oh wow!
I had like this weird moment. I was like, whoa. And then she was just incredible. And then as it went on, she had a larger part of the movie. And then that whole thing when they're talking about the small penis, and we go up to her, and just her writing that down, and she was just so fluid. And I was like, oh yeah, she's got it, man. She's got it.
She's great. She's really great. She's a really unique person. Like, a very unusual person. Like, even just talking to her on a podcast.
Grew up on a farm with 2 moms, and amazing. Yeah, she could do anything.
I know, and she's so fun. She's fun on stage too. Like, she's great, like, working the crowds. Very smart.
Very smart.
But, like, her character, like, the way she interacted, I'm like, oh, that's so realistic. Like, we should fuck. Like, that
exactly.
scene.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go back to the, like, East Village or Chinatown apartment. They live in it's all one room.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah, me too.
It was great. It's like, you're never going to really capture stand-up in a movie, because it's like, to capture what it is, you would need like years.
And also you would need a movie dedicated to it.
Exactly.
The movie's not dedicated to it. Do you know what I mean? It was just about, can I make you feel like you're there, that you're with him on stage?
Yes.
What that could be like.
Yeah.
The silence, and then the cameras, boom, there's nowhere to go.
NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. Postseason games shift fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. New customers bet just $5, and if the bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code ROGAN. That's code ROGAN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
How did you work out the stand-up scenes? Did you have real audiences?
And there was never real audiences because you have to hit the quota of extras with SAG and all that. But we try to do it as authentic as possible, which was everybody that works at the Cellar, they're there in the movie. Everybody who agreed to do it. So all the waiters and everything, the staff, that's all people that work there. Liz, who's the manager, who plays the manager, she's the manager of the Cellar. So all those people are real. But then the patrons, I can't remember what the email was or what the ask was, but like people who like to go to stand-up comedy, who go regularly. And then once they were there, I never told them what was going to happen. I never directed them once. It was like whatever they're laughing at, that's it. And I don't do many takes, so you're getting an authentic reaction. Now it's hyped up because there's cameras there and it's a movie, but they're not told what to do.
It feels like that.
And even in the mix, like we never added anything. There was no added laugh, nothing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's all, because I was like, it's just got to be real. Because I wanted Will to just, I just don't want him to act. Right? I just want him to, and that's why, Shane Gillis was kind enough. The first time he ever went up was here at the Mothership. Shane gave him 4 minutes of his set. And he and I and Will and I flew to Austin, and we were sitting in the green room, and Shane was like an hour and a half late, and Tony was there, and he was so nice. I'd never met Tony before, and that's where I smelled the thing. I did this.
Oh, the smelling sauce.
Yeah, dude, fuck me. That shit is no joke, dude.
Yeah.
And that was the first time Will ever went up, and we were just trying some of that material and went up as Alex Novak, because I was like, when do you have an opportunity as an actor to actually do the thing you're preparing to do? Like you can,
right.
And like think about how much that would cost. Like you can go into a room where there's real people,
right?
It's all, and then every step that you're taking, you're in a club. So he did that, and then when we went back to New York, he did it like 3 times a week. 4 or 5 times a night for like 6 weeks.
Wow.
Just so he could understand what it's like. And some people didn't know who he was. You get a lot of tourists come into New York City, and there were nights where you knew that when he said Alex Novak, they're like, cool.
Right.
Not like you're not Alex Novak.
Right.
They're like, okay, let's see what you got. And so that was really great.
Who wrote this film?
He wrote it with this guy Mark Chappell. It was a movie that was more about his based on this guy John Bishop, who's a real comedian, is a very successful comedian in the UK, and Will met that guy on a barge somewhere, and he was talking about his story, and he was like, yeah, I was doing something else. My wife and I were breaking up, and I walked into a pub one night. I didn't want to pay the cover. That really happened to this guy, so he put his name down, and then they called him. And then he was like, yeah, I'm getting a divorce, and got a couple chuckles, but he just loved it. Never done comedy, nothing before that. And he kept going back, and he like was obsessed by it. And then like weeks later, his estranged wife walked into a place he was doing an open mic at with her girlfriends, and he was doing a set about their relationship. So that actually happened.
Wow.
I know. And then they got back together, and they're still together. And then now he tours around the world. Like he makes a living as a comedian.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So when he was telling me that, I was doing another movie, and I remember I was like, what are you working on? Because we've been friends for like 25 years. And he was telling me that, and I was like, I just imagine Will, because I know him so well, and he's so charismatic and funny and just has this presence that is kind of lacking. I don't feel like there's like a male archetype now that fits him. He's like Robert Mitchum. He reminds me like a young Robert Mitchum, Will Arnett. And he's telling me that. I'm like, his voice and like that face, stand-up comedy. Like, I just couldn't get it out of my head, Joe. And I was like, hey, man, like, can I read it? Like, how far along are you guys? And I read it, and I was like, I didn't quite, because like you, I'd never seen a movie that I thought nailed it, and I love stand-up comedy so much. I was like, and I have no desire to try to redo it. And also, comedy is so massive right now, and the specials are so great and cinematic right now that there's no reason to try to make a fictional movie about something that we can watch as a documentary or a docuseries or a show that is authentic. I was like, but I still would really love to capture it cinematically. So what if it's a foil and the movie's about the two of them? Because that's interesting.
Yes.
And you suck.
Well, that was one of the great scenes where Jordan was like,
yeah,
you're
she's
bad.
like, you're bad, you're really bad. And it's much more about just what stand-up comedy, with anything, and you talk about this on your show, doing anything that puts you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Anything that pushes you, you're gonna improve as a human being. That was really what that whole thing is about. And I just love the culture in the world, and I thought there's so much tangible stuff there for me to get excited about cinematically and story-wise. But really, it's like it could have been anything.
Yeah.
Just something that he'd never done, he had puts himself out there, and that in doing it, he just sort of gets more comfortable, and then the mic comes off the stand, and then he's leaning against the wall. And by the end of it, and then the way it was structured, it allows him to do that vampire set at the end of the movie, where all he's doing is exercising what he's feeling emotionally because he's comfortable in this setting.
Yeah.
Because the old him, when he has that fight with her in the attic, he just would have kept that all inside.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been catatonic at his kids' assembly where we meet him in the beginning of the movie. Because you just don't know what to do with all that. But if you have an outlet, something expressive,
yes,
you can exercise it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So that really was the point of that whole part of it being stand-up comedy and open mic.